So last week I think I said I was going to talk about the AVP movies, but then I realized I don't really have time to do those because of how close Alien Requiem is. So I'm just going to do Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and then I'll do the AVP movies in the future, probably closer to a Predator movie. I apologize about that. So Prometheus, this is an interesting movie because this movie is a prequel, not a sequel, about and it's, this is the first time Ridley Scott had done a movie in the Alien franchise since the first Alien, and so people were really excited for this. And I think over the years this movie has been like hit or miss with people, where you got those Alien fans who really love this movie, and you got other ones who just don't get it. They can't stand it. They find it boring, too preachy, or they just plain don't understand it. I think for me with this one I fall in the middle, because I watched this movie and I love how much it feels like the first Alien game. It's very slow, it's very methodical, and it's got a slow moving pace. The things I love about sci-fi is that kind of stuff. And there's certain sci-fi movies where that appeals to certain people, and then there's certain ones that don't. This is the ones where it doesn't. So I like that about the movie. It's a gorgeously shot movie. It's got great cinematography. It expands upon the alien world in a lot of ways that are interesting, bold, and different. It has a lot of interesting ideas that really don't all come together, but they're at least interesting enough that I like them being presented. I think where this movie fails is I think this movie tries to be smarter than it is from time to time. There are certain sequences and ideas that it explores, like I said, that don't really come together. And I don't really want to talk about them without spoiling it. And I also don't want to say too much about them, because this is a movie that I don't know if that will change on rewatches. This movie has so many big ideas and interesting things that I think that on rewatches I may come to understand this more. But because this movie is so slow and methodical, not in the same way like Alien is, but in a similar fashion to that movie, I'm not going to want to come back to it. Like Alien keeps me engaged because the horror aspect. This movie's more just slow. This is Ridley Scott's 2001: A Space Odyssey in a way. Except in the same way that Interstellar is Christopher Nolan's 2001. They're not as good, and they just need to quit trying to be Kubrick. Kubrick is one of a kind. He's one of the greatest film directors of all time. And what he did with 2001, no one can accomplish ever again. And so, I don't know. I like this movie. It has a lot to offer, great performances. I just feel that this movie kind of, I don't want to say it was unnecessary, because there's a vision behind it. I think it expanded things. It was interesting. But it also just feels so radically different from the franchise that I almost don't really view this as Prometheus. I almost wonder if this movie was made to be an Alien movie because no studio would fund it. It may be Ridley Scott had an original concept for another sci-fi movie and nobody would fund it. I mean, he kind of was doing more unique sci-fi movies at the time with stuff like The Martian and stuff. So I'm not sure. I don't really like this movie. I think that it has a lot to offer, and if you're an Alien fan, it's worth having. I just think it has some shortcomings within that, and that's unfortunate.